This episode of Tekzilla is brought to you by GoToAssist Express.
Although Cisco is planning on shutting down its flip camera operations, Samsung and Toshiba have recently released the very similar Camileo BW10 and W200. Here to give his experience with these two cameras is Roger.
Hey, so yeah,
Are these just like Toshiba and Samsung versions of the flip, essentially?
Yes, with their own kind of little unique, I shouldn't say unique,
spins.
Spins. One of these, the primary one is that they both feature removable media. So in the case of the Samsung, it's micro SD. In the case of the Toshiba here, let me see if I can pop the old girl open. There's an SD HC card slot there, and that is kind of a unique departure because the flip was designed to be kind of a no-nonsense, very stupid device. Once you're done, you plug it into your laptop or computer, and you literally drag the files out and post them onto YouTube or Facebook or wherever you want. Now, these go a little step further because they offer a couple of other unique features. Now, you're wondering why I have a giant fish tank.
I am.
I have a giant fish tank
because I know where you're going with this.
Because, hold on, I'm going to turn these on. And if I don't get electrocuted, even though there's not enough here to electrocute me, and the mineral oil will keep me safe because that's, they're designed to be waterproof, and in the case of the Toshiba, also shockproof. So if you were mountain biking or hiking and you dropped it and it fell
in a river with some rocks, might be okay.
It'll be fine. In fact, one of the great feature or product shots of these is someone down scuba diving or snorkeling, and look, I'm taking videos.
Oh look, it's a shark coming at me.
Exactly.
How shark absorbent that will be.
But let me get into the specifics. So first we got the Toshiba, the Toshiba. I want to say chamomile, but that's a T.
I know, it's like Camileo.
Camileo BW10, and as you can see, it features a nice little waterproof screen and yellow front. It's about $115. Goes down up to 6.8 feet of water, so anything beyond that, the seals are probably not so good, and you'll start leaking. What is unique about this particular model is that if you see on the front, I'm not sure if you can really see it, there's this little white dot up there, and that's actually a light. So if you're taking snapshots in still mode right there, it will flash, and if you're trying to take video in a dark place, it'll turn on as a little camera light.
How would that work underwater?
Water is a very unique environment because it's not only, well, you're not only underwater, but water diffracts light, and light goes at a much slower pace than it would in air. So there's a couple of unique things there. Suffice it to say, for $115, don't expect too much. All right, next we have the Sharp W200. Similarly priced, except it's at $150 instead of $115. Waterproof up to 10 feet, so you get another 4 feet of being dragged down to your doom. And it's drop resistant up to 2 meters. Now, what's cool about this is it features OIS, optical image stabilization. That means as you whip it around, as you can see, it's not being too jerky. The lens kind of floats.
Oh, nice.
And so if you're
good for action sports.
Yeah. So if you're running around and you're trying to say follow some kids or someone skateboarding or something like that, you won't get that kind of YouTube handycam jerk that you see all the time where people attach and you kind of get a little dizzy and nauseated.
Yeah.
It does feature a mode called the Aqua mode that tweaks the sensor settings so it works a little better underwater.
So compared between these two, you would say this one works better in an underwater environment?
I think this one works better in general. So let me, if we bring up the video that I shot earlier this weekend with the Samsung, you'll notice that right here, it has some of the jerkiness that you come to expect with little flip cam devices. The
color looks really bright.
But so this is the thing. It does a much better job of auto white balancing. But as you notice by the trees, it's a little overly saturated. It's like they decided to punch up everything so you know, because the grass wasn't that abnormally green. It was green, but not like that. But the image stabilization works pretty well for this class of camera. Now, if we bring up that same clip, but that I shot on the Toshiba, you'll notice there's going to be a lot more jerkiness to it. So see right here, see it's a little more it's a little more hard. Yeah. As I walk, and I had them together at the same time, and I wasn't doing anything other than just walking with them. I wasn't like I had my, my arms relatively free floating. As you can see, the colors are a little more washed out. And unfortunately, the screen on the Toshiba actually is really hard to see in bright light compared to the one on the Samsung.
Gotcha.
Overall, I tested them to make sure that they wouldn't explode underwater, but I didn't actually really get to dive in the pool, so I leave the underwater scuba bit.
I should have done that yesterday. I went to a pool yesterday. I didn't know that you were testing the underwater portion.
So let me wrap this up real quick. Toshiba, I like it because it's the light. It's and it's pretty handy in the dark, and the sound quality is a lot better.
Okay.
In terms of recording someone speaking, or say you want to record an outdoor concert.
So the onboard mic is a little more.
Yeah. Now the Samsung actually gives you much better video. I think a slightly better visual quality. It does feature the optical image stabilization, which helps it along, and the screen is much better in broad daylight. And it does feature an aqua mode, which I've yet to test.
A true aqua mode.
A true aqua mode,
right. Not just dunking it in the fish tank.
Like the PR brochures that I don't have with me.
So bottom line?
That I would say I would lean toward the Samsung. But I will say this caveat: I actually hate these kinds of cameras to begin with. I think they're really crappy. The Samsung was the least offensive, if that's indication. The problem I have with these is they typically have this CMOS roll. For example, one of the next clips I bring up here, the Samsung. These cameras are great when you just want to sit at a location and say you just want to capture people. That's fine. Now, if you actually want to move and walk around with it, you get you'll notice when I panel it, you get kind of a skewing motion. That's what they call.
I did notice that. That's the stabilization.
No, that's the CMOS. So all CMOS sensors have a deficiency called a shutter roll, and that's basically because, like a TV, old style CRTV, it draws the top image first before it finishes drawing the bottom, or rather it captures the top line first before it finishes the bottom. And what happens is when you wiggle it around too much, you get kind of this jello effect. And you see it a lot in video DSLRs, which is why when people shoot with them, they tend to be a lot more methodical when they plan out. But the thing is, when people use these, they tend to go like this, or they run around, and all of that kind of gets exacerbated a little bit. And to be honest, if you have a pretty good HD cam in your phone, you might as well stick with that, unless you plan on, climbing Half Dome and you want to record your adventures in a very easy, easy clip on your,
nice.
body
So
weight.
unless you're really going to do the active lifestyle videographer kind of thing on a low budget.
A phone is so much better. Even SD 640 by 40, you can send it to someone. You can upload it.
I'd much rather drop that on the ground on the pavement on a wet day than my iPhone, though.
Yeah, but you also shoot photos with your iPhone.
That's true. Well, stick around because you might be able to help me with our next question. It comes from Nelson, and he asks, I'm in the process of looking for an HD camcorder in the $1,000 range with 1080p, electronic viewfinder, good still picture quality, and easy enough for the technologically inept to use. My current thoughts are the Sony HDR-CX560V and the Canon Vixia HF S21. Any suggestions? Nelson in Holly, Michigan.
Hey, Holly, Michigan, never been there.
Never been there either.
Quick things to note. So when you use a camcorder, these days, most of them feature what they call a touchscreen. That means when you turn it on, you have a screen and you can touch things and do things like touch focus. So instead of focusing and turning a ring, you just point at what you want the camera to focus, it focuses. Viewfinders will not allow you to do that. Now, viewfinders are great for outdoor shots where you have lots of bright sunlight and you cannot see because it washes out the screen. But for the most part, you're still going to have the screen flipped out to touch it. Now, the thing I need to ask Nelson is how important is still image quality? Typically, camcorders have much poorer still image quality compared to a point and shoot. My 5-year-old point and shoot power shot that I paid $200 for back then does much better stills than this camera right here, which I paid over $700 for. Now, of course, this does video and does a bunch of other things. Now, if Nelson really wants to keep with the viewfinder and still really wants to stick around the $1,000 range, check out the HF S30. That is Canon's follow-up to the HF S21 that Nelson mentioned. features a lot of the same functions, and it's actually one of the only new cameras they released that still has a pop-up flash. So you can actually still take stills as well as use it as a on-camera light in video mode.
Cool.
Another camera to look at is the Panasonic HTC TM900. This camera is great because it features an individual CMOS sensor for each color, for red, green, and blue. And you know, everyone seems to like it. The only thing I will say, it is kind of complex to use. Compared with this one, I found the Canon much easier to kind of figure out.
More user-friendly.
Yeah, than the Panasonic. But the Panasonic does feature a multi-function focus ring that you can assign to focus, iris, and a bunch of other things. Now, finally, if you're not that tied to still image quality, and you know you're willing to spend a little bit more, check out the HF G10 from Canon. Now, this is kind of their premium, high-end, consumer level, almost prosumer level camcorder. Now, the sensor is actually a little bit smaller, has 2 megapixels, 2.2 megapixels versus the 6 of my camera, and it loses the pixels because Canon decided that to get increased low light sensitivity, they would figure they would drop out some of the extra pixels on it, so each remaining pixel will be more sensitive. Now, it trades off the video performance for still quality, but if you want a no-nonsense, you know, awesome video camera that you're not paying an arm and leg for, you should probably check that out as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Good recommendations. Raj?
Sure.
All right, well, we've still got more of your emails to come, but first, it's time to thank one of our sponsors.
Do you need an easy, cost-effective way to provide tech support to clients, colleagues, friends, or your family members without flying there, without being there in person? One of the best ways we've found to do it is online with GoToAssist Express. It's how Rob supports his mom. It's how Veronica supports her mom. GoToAssist Express lets you view and control another computer online over the internet so you can resolve technical issues quickly and easily. We've been able to help friends learn how to use new software, fix family computer problems without being there. It's a long flight to Florida, and Rob's got things to do. If you're a Tekzilla viewer, you can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. It's a special offer. You got to go to gotoassist.com/Tekzilla. That's gotoassist.com/Tekzilla for a free trial, and you'll be helping to keep Tekzilla on the air.